Yeah, this album is called The Beginning of the End. We have features like obviously Kokane. We have Obie Trice on it. We have Mr. Little One, Mr. Shadow, the beautiful Marissa Saragusa. Shadow on the same song. You know, without Shadow, I don't think it would have been what it was. I mean, the original was me, Mr. Little One, and Cocaine, and then we got Shadow on after, and I mean that spiced it up even more so than it already was. Called up Cocaine. He was real receptive towards the idea and loved it, so he went for it. And Cocaine's always showed me love since day one. So shout out to Cocaine. That's my dude right there. Mr. Little One, you know, he's actually we'll get into it in a minute, but he's actually the reason why I'm sitting here, like a big reason why I'm sitting here right now, because I chose to not make music anymore. You know, he's a big reason why it started back up. A little one asked me, you know, what are you doing with your music? And I'm like, nothing really. And it kind of he's kind of like, you have to, you got to do something. You know, you need to get things going. You need to, you know, you need to be out there. People need to hear you. And you know, it was one of those moments where it was pretty inspirational for me. Like if somebody was, you know, moved by one of my songs and my music that much that it meant a lot for him to actually try to push me to go, you know, make more. Guap City did the film. They're the ones that put that together. Guap's great. Shout out to Guap City. He's always, you know, exceeding expectations doing this thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce. He's a legend. I've been listening to his music non-stop. Finis, welcome, man.
How we doing?
Yeah, great. Thanks for giving us your time and coming on. I've been listening to your music non-stop, so it's pretty cool.
I appreciate that. Appreciate
I want to start off. You want to tell us about where it is that you grew up and what it was like growing up there where you are from?
that. I was born in uh, San Diego, California. Born and raised here near downtown in East Side San Diego. So growing up here was a little rough early on. You know, as time has passed, it's gotten a little bit better. But you know, growing up was rough.
Yeah, so I'm glad you were able to get into music as well because you're so talented. How old were you when you first got into music and how did it come about?
I started uh, writing verses and getting interested in it when I was around 14, 15 years old.
And
Recording whenever I could. I mean, tapes at the time, or you know, at a friend's house or whatever.
that's awesome. Do you remember the first song that you wrote?
I actually do. I actually do. Um, I've tried really hard to find it,
Yeah.
but I've been unsuccessful in finding it. It's floating around somewhere, but hopefully someday I'll run across it. That way I
Yeah,
could at least get a good laugh.
that'd be awesome too, just to see
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
And what's been, I guess, the highlight of your journey so far?
Uh, I mean, just being in the studio with certain people that you never thought you would. You know, you walk in the studio and you know you have somebody that you listen to for years. You know that you're a fan of. You've always been a fan of, and then there they are, or someone that you see like you know on Instagram or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're in the studio and there they are. You know,
Yeah.
and you try not to be too excited when you see people, but you know it happens. We're
Yeah,
people too, you know, and we're fans too.
yeah, definitely. I gotta say,
Yeah.
one song that I really love is Vato Loco.
Oh yeah, you like that one?
Oh, man, it's honestly, it's absolutely one of my favorite songs now. And you
Yeah,
absolutely kill it on that.
appreciate that. Thank you, thank
I
you.
I was listening to it just before I came on too. It's my jam every day. I listen to it,
Nice,
and the
nice. Yeah,
film clip's cool. Everything.
everybody did. You know, everyone did their thing. Every single person on it, you know, called up Cocaine. He was real receptive towards the idea and, you know, loved it. So he went for it. And Cocaine's always showed me love since day one. So shout out to Cocaine. That's my dude right there. But yeah, and,
Definitely.
you know, Mr. Little One, you know, he's actually we'll get into it in a minute, but he's actually the reason why I'm sitting here, like a big reason why I'm sitting here right now, because you know I chose to not make music anymore, and he's a big reason why it started back up. But Shadow on the same song, without Shadow, I don't think it would have been what it was. I mean, the original was me, Mr. Little One, and Kokane, and then we got Shadow on after, and I mean that spiced it up even more so than it already was.
Yeah,
So
perfect recipe there.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
yeah,
so cool.
yeah. Appreciate it. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I was listening to that non-stop, and then I did an interview with Mr. Shadow, and yeah, he said that you're his cousin, and yeah, I was
Yeah,
to check you out, and I was like, man, I absolutely love your verse. And I was
I
like, man, this
appreciate it.
guy just kills it. So I wanted to find out more about you, and then found your other songs, like
Yeah.
Good Bad Habits. That's an awesome film clip too, by the way.
Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Everything we do, we try our best to put everything into it. Whatever resources we're able to grasp, and whatever we're able to do, we try to really put that into it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I gotta say, I love your setup there too, and your drink, your cigars. That's
Oh,
cool.
appreciate it.
I'm gonna get
Appreciate
me
it.
one
Yeah,
of them,
there you go.
definitely. And
Yeah.
I want to ask, Good Bad Habits. How did that come
Mhm.
about? And like, who did the film clip? Because that's crazy.
Uh, Guap City did the film. They're the ones that put that together. Guap's great. Shout out to Guap City. He's always exceeding expectations doing this thing, and always is receptive towards ideas and shows me love as well. He's he's a he's a good dude, always has been, and I like his work ethic, and I like how he does things, and you know the proof is in what we do. I mean, it comes out beautifully, editing, everything.
Yeah, it's like a movie. It's so cool.
Funny you say that, because the idea is for this whole album to be filmed. It's linear, so the whole album is going to be filmed, and it'll all be a movie as it progresses throughout the album. That's the whole idea.
What a concept. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to, like you said before, you mentioned cocaine. I love Uncle Coco. He's helped me out heaps and given me some great advice. So yeah, I'm glad you two,
Yeah.
cooked up. And I want to ask, you mentioned the album. Can you tell everyone the name of the album and, some of the people who are going to be on it?
Yeah. This album is called The Beginning of the End. Um, we have features like obviously Cocaine. We have Obie Trice on it. We have Mr. Little One, Mr. Shadow, the beautiful Marissa Saragusa, who actually just got married. So I don't want to butcher the name that she just got, but yeah, she's on it as well. She's on Beautiful Nightmare and Alone on My Own. She's very, very talented.
Yeah. And can you tell us the release date?
June 20th. So it's
June
coming.
20.
It's soon. Yeah.
I'll be getting it first day.
I appreciate it. That's what's up.
Yeah, and that's amazing features you got on there as well, and like even Obie Trice, so it's huge fan of him, and I was a youngster and still am, so that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
same here. Yeah, same here. I was actually out of the country when I got his verse back. So yeah, actually I got an email, and I got the rough draft from him, and I heard it, and I was like, wow, this is bananas. So I hit up my manager, and I sent it to him, and he heard it, and he was like, wow. And Obi's like, is it cool? Do you want me to change anything? I'm like, hell no, nah, keep that exactly how it is. That's the
Wow,
Obi Trice stamp right there. I don't want to change nothing about it.
yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah,
And just I'm so glad that Mr. Little One, Mr. Shadow is going to be on there too. So like you guys together are
yeah.
just incredible.
Yeah. The song with Mr. Little One, people are gonna be um, a little surprised. It's a little outside the box for him, but bananas.
I'm a huge fan of him as well. I've been listening to all his music, so that's going to be cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. Little One's cool, man. He's always showed me love, a lot of love for Little One. Shout out to Little One. But
Yeah.
yeah, He's a big reason why I'm making music again.
Can you
So, I
tell us
mean,
how he got you back in there?
sure. I've been recording for years, and for a short period of time, everyone gets burnt out to a certain degree. You do something over and over, it's repetitive to the point where, if you don't see progress, you know, you tend to get down on yourself or frustrated. And I was at one of those points where it was just like, man, I've made so much music, I've done so much, and I don't see any progression here. I don't see any movement. I feel stagnant. I feel like I'm stuck in the mud. And I saw other avenues to make money, and I continued to do those. And one day I get a phone call from one of my, really, really good friends who's a mutual friend of Little One. And he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I go, I'm finishing up work, man. What's going on?" He goes, "Hey, Mr. Little One wants to meet you." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Man, stop playing, dude." I'm like, "Now's not the time. Like, it was a rough day today. It was one of those days. It was like, it was a rough day today, bro. Like, kick
Yeah.
back on that. I don't want to hear that." And he goes, "No, no, I'm serious. I'm serious. I showed him, I showed him one of your songs. Matter of fact, it was Bottom of the Glass."
Yeah.
So I end up going with a buddy of mine who I actually got in an argument with about him showing people my music. And on the way there, um, shout out to Jot. But we get there and we start talking or whatever. And Little One asked me, "What are you doing with your music?" And I'm like, "I mean, nothing really." And he's kind of like, you got to do something. You need to get things going. You need to be out there. People need to hear you. And it was one of those moments where it was pretty inspirational for me. Like if somebody was, moved by one of my songs and my music that much that it meant a lot for him to actually try to push me to go, make more. And then we've done at that point, I didn't have any songs with him, and then we did a couple, and um, execute one of them that I did with him, Click Clack. There's a few out there that we knocked out, and then actually the one on my album that I'm keeping as the feature of him for my album. But he's the one of the early on ones that pushed me and drove me to continue to get in the studio and to make music, and really to put me in a good headspace to be like, you know what, even if things aren't moving, you may not see the movement. It may be so minuscule and so tiny of movements that you may not notice it, but it is moving. And I think that's the biggest problem that a lot of us don't understand because, perception is everything. So, when you're not seeing something move, it doesn't mean that it's not moving. It just may be moving very, very, very slowly. And that's what was happening.
Man, I'm so glad that happened that he heard your music and you were able to link up. So that's like meant to be.
Yeah, for sure. For
And I
sure.
love the song Click Clack too.
Oh, appreciate that.
And you said I'm a killer gorilla, been building my skill up. It's, yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome lines, man. I love it. Everything you do.
Thank you. Thank you. Try to do our best, and especially myself, I try to push myself to make sure that I'm digging deeper than most everybody is right now. Like a lot of people are just making random bunch of, content and just sticking it out there in no man's land. And I'm not gonna do that. If what I do doesn't take time to write and doesn't have a thought process behind it, I would rather just not release it. I really, really don't want to do that. There's so much stuff out there right now that's flooded the whole industry that's just not worth even listening to.
Yeah.
And I know that's opinion based, but at the same time, like I'm in the studio every day. Like I'm in here working, you know, I'm putting the time into this. And then when I hear things like that, I'm like, I don't know. It's frustrating because where the game was and then how it's kind of fallen off. And then we're trying to grab it and build it back up to what it should be, and there's talent out there. It's not that there's not talent out there. It's just it's being flooded by so much other stuff out there that's just not really to par. It's not up to that standard that it should be. Like we should be elevating and pushing each other to do better and better and better. And it's just not happening.
Yeah, definitely. I feel exactly the same about it, how you just described it. I think it's just been
Yeah.
flooded, and then you got to find the gems in there.
Yeah. I mean, they're there. The gyms are they're out there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like yourself, the music you put out is incredible, and everything down to the film clip. And I can't wait for the album. And like you said, it's gonna be 20 songs. It's man, that's gonna
Yeah,
be
this
awesome.
and I tried to make it, where not every single song sounds the same. Like it's gonna move. You're gonna feel emotion through the whole thing. Like there's segments of it that are, positive, uplifting into really depressing into dark, and then kind of floating around the dark, and then coming back up a little bit, and maybe, heartfelt, and then it gets back down into the darkness. So it's a constant roller coaster of emotion, and that's what I wanted. I wanted people to listen to it and not get bored.
Yeah,
I wanted people to listen to it and have like substance, something to actually listen and grab onto.
yeah, like great story. Yeah, I'll definitely be buying it, man. So I bought songs I could of yours on iTunes as well. So I got them on my iPod. I don't know if
I
anyone
appreciate that.
listens to iPods anymore, but I still got mine.
Yeah.
It's,
That's all good. However you listen to, I don't care if you rock it on a record or a tape.
yeah, I just love
It's
it.
all good.
And
And that's the thing too. Like the records are coming back. Like people are
yeah,
they're picking them up.
definitely. I'll see. Yeah, a lot of artists are starting to do that now, and it's so cool, especially for music lovers. I used to have heaps of CDs, and it makes me want to start buying stuff again, like records and CDs. And
I still have my books of CDs. I mean, I remember I got all the old the Nas's, and I mean I got Run DMC's, and you name it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like I had a bunch. I remember back in the day when it was like everyone was waiting for that one album to come out.
yeah,
And you were at school and everybody was talking about it. And yo, when is it coming out? It's coming out on Friday. All right, cool. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna be there. And my friends and I, well, we would leave school, we would ditch, and we would bone out down to downtown San Diego to Sam Goody
yeah,
and go, pick up our copy. You know,
yeah,
that's what it was back then. That's the excitement of the draw of what it was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like music meant a lot more, I think, than it does now.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely it's yeah hard to find that excitement again when you could go to the shop and pick your CDs and new releases. That was a really golden period, I think.
Oh, it was beautiful. And then not only that, but having your CD and you could flip through it and check out all of the text in it and the pictures and everything else. And the art was a lot more involved then. Like there was a lot more that artists had to do in order to put their records out. Now it's just make a song, AI makes people an album cover, they upload it to TuneCore or they upload it to CD Baby, whoever, and they shell them out.
Yeah,
And that's cool. Don't get me wrong. You know, everything has to evolve at some point, but I think it's also drawing down the amount of talent that we get to actually
yeah,
pay attention to.
yeah, yeah. Because anyone can just do it now.
Well, I made the example the other day. Like, imagine if the major leagues in baseball, imagine if they didn't have scouts
Yeah,
and
yeah,
anybody could just buy into it and just go play.
yeah,
No one would watch it.
yeah. That's true.
There,
Yeah,
there, there wouldn't be the exciting, guys throwing 105, and there wouldn't be the exciting home run hitting. It'd be trash. I mean, the level of skill would be drawn down dramatically,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly. I haven't thought of it like that. That's yeah, definitely. That's a
and
perfect way
that's
to
what's
put it.
happened.
Yeah,
That's what's happened. So anybody can go into a Guitar Center or a Sam Ash or wherever, and they can go pick up, you know, studio equipment, trackboard, computer, not even a trackboard, just an interface, and run it off Pro Tools or, Logic Pro, and they can start recording.
yeah,
Now, what they're going to record, I don't know.
yeah,
I mean, it is what it is.
yeah. Oh, one thing I want to ask everyone who I have on here, what advice would you
Mhm.
give to someone starting out, whether it be music or just anything? Like,
Um, that's an easy one for me. I would say anybody who makes fun of you, there's obviously a portion of them that wishes they were doing what you were doing. And if someone is making fun of you for it, or giving you a hard time for it, or whatever it may be, don't listen to them. Like, don't listen to none of that, because I had that happening for me directly from my family members, and not family members, family member. And it's hard to hear. It's hard to be made fun of and hard to hear, and then actually go back in the studio and set your mind aside from that and keep going, when that's in the back of your mind. And my biggest thing I would tell somebody is, like, don't worry about what other people are talking about. You just worry about the art that you're creating and putting it out the way that you want it to sound, and don't skimp on anything. If you want to make something sound a certain way, make it sound that way. Just because someone else says that it's wrong doesn't mean that it's wrong. If it works, it's not wrong.
Yeah, that's incredible. Thanks. And great advice. I want to ask who influenced you, would be your biggest influences when making music?
As far as like big artists or just anyone in general.
Anyone in general, yeah. Well, you can do both, big artists and anyone in general.
Um, some guys I went to school with. Um, Bernard Rackley, shout out to Bernard Rackley, uh, and Chris Barclay. They were both um, they're both very responsible for getting me to recognize what this music is and how it should be and the sound that I could create myself. And you know, both of them were very encouraging. And I didn't look the same as them. I was the little Hispanic kid, in a in a school where I was outnumbered big time. And they looked past it. They didn't care, and I got love for them for days. Like it'll never ever change. And I still keep in touch with one of them, Bernard. Here and there, I get to chop it up with him. He's got his family and everything going. Real proud of him. And haven't spoke to Chris in a long time, but hopefully that changes soon.
Yeah, that's incredible too. Yeah, it's good that they, like you said, embrace you and you're able to make those friends. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And they were way older than me too. I was the young cat, so
Yeah,
they grabbed me and they brought me in, and they made it okay for me to be a part of this hip hop group that I love so much.
yeah. Definitely. What's I want to ask too, outside of music, what do you love doing?
Oh, I love riding dirt bikes. I mean, that's my thing. I love the desert, dirt bikes, uh, all kinds of fast toys, cars, trucks, you name it. I have a
Yeah,
bad habit of buying big boy toys.
yeah. Good bad habit.
Yeah, it's a good bad habit. It's fun, but yeah, it is. It's definitely a expensive habit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
definitely got to have fun still. That's
yeah,
cool.
for sure.
Who's someone that you haven't worked with that you'd like to work with?
Um, I was talking the other day about this. I have a song right now that I think Chris Brown would sound legit on.
Yeah.
So I mean, Chris Brown, um, as odd as it sounds, I'd love to do a song with Lady Gaga.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, she's super talented. You know, musically, she's just on a whole different level. And I mean, I'm a fan of all types of music. I don't just listen to rap. I listen to rock and roll. I listen to country. I listen to everything. I'm a fan of the Eagles, Led Zeppelin,
Yeah,
Nirvana. Like everything all across the board.
yeah,
Kenny Chesney, Kane Brown, you name it.
yeah. Yeah, I love that too. Cause yeah, I'm the same. I love every type of music.
Yeah,
It's cool. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of everything lately, like from rock. I just watched a Bob Dylan movie, so I've been getting back into the old school
there
classics
you
as
go.
well.
There you
So
go.
that, yeah, my iPod's is hip hop and a mix of everything else.
And it's good to know where all these sounds have come from. Like you listen to guys like Elton John. I mean, Elton John is such a great musician,
Yeah,
and the things that he's done not only for Disney but everything across the board. And you know, I was actually kind of bummed out that when he was here at Petco Park and at Chavez Ravine up in LA, I wanted to go,
yeah.
but I was out of town for both dates. So I mean, I thought that would have been really cool to be able to see Elton
That
John.
would have been crazy.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I've actually been to a Lady Gaga concert
Yeah, that'd be
years ago,
crazy as
so
well.
I, I'm not opposed to it, man. I'll go, and
Yeah,
I really don't care what people think.
yeah,
I'll go to that, but at the same time, I'll pull up to a rock concert. I'll pull up to a country concert. You know, I if the music is good, enjoy it. That's what it's there
yeah,
for.
yeah. Definitely, that's a great message too.
Yeah.
I want to ask, like, what else? What's the next 12 months looking like for you? You got the album coming out June 20th. What else can we expect from you?
Um, album coming out, and then June 20th album coming out, then tour, and then I have the follow up album to this one. So we have the beginning of the end, and then the end is near is next. So, and we're right in the middle of working on that and getting that recorded and doing all of our work to that album.
That's incredible. That's exciting. Definitely
Yeah,
can't wait for June 20. Yeah, we'll be buying it.
it's been a long time coming. This album was
Yep.
supposed to come out a while back, and um, there was some background, issues that were going on, not with anyone in particular, but just structure wise that we couldn't get this, we couldn't get it out when we wanted to get it out. We had to wait, um, and that's okay. I mean, we didn't want to jump the gun and push it before it was supposed to, but I know a lot of people out there were expecting it. A lot of people wanted it to come out. I had fans DMing me and messaging me and sending me things like, "Hey, when's this happening? I thought it was coming out, and then we had to postpone it." And it's just been one of those roller coasters
Yep.
to get this thing to actually be out.
Yep.
But on the flip to that, a couple of good things did happen with it actually being postponed, like the features that we have on it.
Yeah.
So one of the features that wouldn't be on it if it would have came out back then is the Obie Trice feature.
Wow. So yeah, it's meant to happen
Yeah.
this time.
I mean, everything happens for a reason, whether it's, you know, something that you like or something that you don't like. I mean, everything's going to happen and pan out the way that it's supposed to. So in this case, I was really frustrated with it, but in the end, I think, it was all for the good and the betterment of the album.
Yep. Definitely. And I want to ask too, are you with your wordplay and you always got awesome verses, are you a heavy reader? Is like, where do you draw from?
Yes. Um, I do. I make sure that I read at least 45 minutes a day.
Wow. I love that.
I think reading is a huge benefit to us, not only for enhancing vocabulary and speech and things like that, but it also I feel is a very good way for people to let their imagination just go into some other place for a temporary period of time and give your actual like stress levels a break. And that's a good thing. And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if you're reading the news. It doesn't matter if you're reading fiction or whatever it may be. Reading is a very very big thing for me.
Yeah. If you had to recommend three books for people, someone, what would you recommend that's had an impact?
It's hard to recommend actual books for people because I mean it's hard to do that because people are into so many different types of things.
Yeah.
You know, I would say this. I would say not to recommend books. I would say find what you like
Yep.
and dig into that. Actually, the one thing that I can say that I think everyone should dig into and read is the Bible.
Yep.
And not just for the religious portion of it, but for position.
Yep.
You know, I think everybody should dig into it and everybody should understand, different aspects of it. And it is a very complex read, but I feel like you can get a lot of good, valuable information from it. And my album has a lot of ties and connections to, you know, biblical message too. So I mean, it's in there.
Yep. Definitely. Yes, I've got it as well. So I'd recommend it. So yeah, definitely. I'm glad you said that too, because I love reading. Yeah, it's something I'm a fan of.
Yeah, reading's a big thing, and I really feel like we don't we don't as human beings read enough anymore. I mean, it used to be that they would print a paper and people would get the paper in the morning and read. And, even when I was going to school, that we would get the paper and we would go through the sports section and, we would see what was what and all the stats and everything else. But, now it's just everyone grabs their phone and,
Yep.
the Sports Center app throws up a you know, little note to you saying, so and so won, the score was whatever. I mean, so you're getting your information, you're seeing it, you're processing it, but you're doing a lot less to get it,
Yep.
which is convenient. But I think it's also hurting us in a way too.
Yeah, definitely. There's not as much effort going into anything.
Yeah,
What about like
yeah,
staying healthy and do you look like you're pretty fit. Is that important to you?
very. My diet is pretty spot on. Um, I try my best to take care of myself the best I can. Um, I've had a lot of surgeries,
Yeah.
more than probably most people Um, but yeah, just try to stay healthy, stay moving, stay walking, you know, try to stay in the gym as much as I can. I know it's hard. We all get busy. We all have, crazy schedules and, things just happen and the chips lay where they may. But, we need to make time for ourselves and make sure that we're doing those things. We're eating good foods. We're trying to stay away from, the processed foods and, the fast foods and things like that and eat more healthy. But yeah, I try my best to. I know, especially when you're out and about and you're on the road or whatever, it's not as easy. But you know, I
Yeah.
think staying in good shape is important to me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think so too. And like you said, eating healthy. Are you going to be featuring on anyone else's songs still?
Um, yeah, so Mr. Shadow's album is dropping here pretty soon, and I'm on one of the songs on that album as well.
Yeah.
Um, I believe this comes out the 16th. I think so. But yeah, I'm on that album as well. And that album, yo, bananas.
Yeah,
That album
can't wait.
is stupid.
Yeah.
I've been very, very privileged to listen to the whole thing, like start to end, and it is out of control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out of control.
That's gonna be great. Yes. It's gonna
Yeah.
be good for music, Mr. Shadow, your album coming out, and I can't wait till June.
I'm privileged to be on the album with, with other features like Ice Cube and Be Real and Cocaine's on his album as well. And like it's on another level. I
Yeah.
mean, it's definitely up there with one of the best albums I've heard in the last 10 years for sure.
That's incredible.
If you're a real hip hop head and you're real into it and like you listen to music forever and like you're one of those guys that back in the day had your backpack on, had headphones on, and was just zoned out like that, these two albums are for you, I promise you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. I'll be getting both of them, that's for sure.
yeah.
Uh, is there anything that I haven't covered that you want to cover or should have covered?
Nah, man, I love my fans. I really, really do. I love my fans. I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate the love and support that you give me. You know, it's very, very rare that I see something negative, online. You guys are all great. You guys are all supportive, and I really appreciate you guys, and you're the reason why at this point I'm still making music and I'm putting it out and I'm going hard for you guys. And that's why there's 20 tracks on this album, because I want to give you guys what you deserve, in my opinion. I want to give you guys as much content that you guys can get and listen to and enjoy. And when I can't do that anymore, then I'll stop doing this.
I love that. I appreciate it too, because I'm a huge fan now. And yeah,
Appreciate you. Thank you.
I've been non-stop listening to you, and that's the truth. So I can't wait for the album to come out, and I'll be
Appreciate that.
supporting it for sure.
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it, and thanks for your time. Yeah, that song Vato Loco, I've interviewed nearly everyone on there now. You, Mr. Shadow, Kokane. I just need to interview Mr. Little One.
There you go. There you go.
Nice.
I'm sure he'd be down to do it. I'm sure he would.
Yeah, I've been talking to him, so just trying to set it up. And yeah, it's crazy. Like to one of my favorite songs ever, and I'm talking his. So
Oh, of course, man. We love to make the music for you guys to listen to. So,
yeah,
anytime we get a chance to put something new out, we're glad
yeah,
to do it.
man, awesome. I can't wait. And yeah, thanks again for your time.
Of
I'll
course,
stay in touch
anytime.
with you, and I'll put some clips out.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime. Anytime you need anything, you just let me know.
Thank you, man. Yeah, same here. That's appreciate you, bro.
Of course.
Thomas Berryman TV, MC Wicks. You are now rocking with the greatest. Worldwide universal, we kick game, drop gems. Knowledge expand the brain. We don't speak no lies, it's all factual. Travel through sound waves, international. My aura is shining, but that's natural. From the cosmos, supernatural, extraterrestrial with the ill flow. Too high, too elevated. Art and culture is beautiful, we gon' celebrate it. Documented this history in the making. Connecting with the rest of the planet through conversation. Building from the ground up, this the foundation. Through the power of thought manifestation. Gift the gap, champion rap, greatness. Timeless like hieroglyphs. Who would've ever pictured this? Blow.